What's up, yo? Starting another video. It's a little rainy outside, but that's alright. So we're gonna talk about mistakes. A good subject to bring up. When we make mistakes, we learn from them. But the truth is, some people don't learn from their mistakes, so they avoid accountability. And those are called narcissists. People who act a certain way, a sort of charm that rings like a bell. And the reason why I bring up the narcissist, well, this is almost like a video for those who are going through a rough time in a relationship, or somebody who's overcoming a relationship and their past or present family member, sibling, neighbor, friend, co-worker, boss, relationship status could be a narcissist. And the reason why I'm talking about mistakes is when you realized that you made a mistake and you're wrong, you could have been, talking about something and a word came out of your mouth. It probably offended somebody. And it could have been a friend, could have been somebody completely, nobody that you know of, but you feel this deep inner sadness. You realize that you just crossed the line. And we usually don't learn until it's too late. Do not hold this as a burden. Take accountability. Realize what you've done. Move on. You can apologize when they're ready. Acknowledge what you've done, and I'm not saying apologize to the narcissist, but apologize to the person that takes accountability as well. And this is what the narcissist lacks. The narcissist would only belittle you for what they did to you. And that's the truth. The devil is the narcissist, and the narcissist is the devil. Why do you think they did not teach us all what this is? Because they run the world. They want to control everyone. They want to stay in power. So they make sure nobody realizes what this is until it's too late. Until it happened to you numerous of times, to a point where you acknowledge and realize this is a thing. Once or twice or multiple times you thought like everyone else, where, maybe everybody else thinks just like me. Let me just go out there and see what it's about, what will happen to me if I try to help somebody that's gonna try and destroy me. Well, you find out the hard way. You realize that there are people who are not willing to have the best interests. They're willing to make more mistakes than you, but they make sure that you take accountability for it and not them. Therefore, mistakes to the narcissist is just another joke to you. Stop taking it so seriously. It's not that bad. You know, they gaslight you. Don't you remember when we went to the park? What park? You know, the one that we just went to like an hour ago. We didn't even go to a park. We stayed home an hour ago. Whatever. You're being too sensitive. They're living inside their brain. Therefore, they take you for granted. Your time, your empathy, your love. You can't even apologize because it's not your fault. If you apologize for something that's not your fault, you're allowing this person to take advantage of you. And the longer you wait, the worse it gets. Take action now. Learn from your mistakes. And get the fuck away from these people. Now, moving on from that topic and focusing more on mistakes. You could be, working with a friend. As I said before, you could say something about somebody's situation, and it could be the truth, but sometimes you have to have compassion in the truth and realize you're not the only one in the room. Because there are certain things you cannot say. It's like the N-word. I'll bring something up. I was talking to a friend online. I only know them online. About a situation, how people try to rob you from, they sell cool things, but is it, worth it? So somebody was trying to sell a Cybertruck. They sell single colors for for example, the currency on Second Life is Linden's, and it was only $8,000 for a fucking car. Not $8,000 in real life, but that's like $8,000 is like $25 per color, and that's only for a car that drives in a game, and not a car in real life. And I was like, it's kind of like when you use the word Negro, some people get extremely offended because they are traumatized. And I'm not specifically talking about, black people. It could be anyone, Asian, white, Hispanic, Asian. I think I already said that, but anybody who comes from a really bad situation in the past, and they're too used to seeing so many people abuse these words to call you know, a scallywag, a twat, for example, or, you know, a white person, a crackhead. You know, you could be funny in your own way, but some people come from different backgrounds where it's extremely hard to, you know, the best thing is it's probably best to keep your mouth shut and take a step back and realize that maybe that word is not a good time to use it, or it's not a good word to use, because so to continue on with the story with this, you know, the person, you know, I've noticed that people, you know, like, not to insult their culture, but it's kind of like white trash. You know, when you see the ghetto and the things like that, a lot of people are stupid, and some of them are really smart, but a lot of them are really stupid, and they get really pissed off at you, and then, you know, in real life they can shoot you for saying something wrong. They could shoot you. That's how stupid they really are. And I'm not against anyone defending themselves, but sometimes there are people with fragile egos, and they will kill an innocent person for staring at them wrong, or, you know, complaining that they're a, you know, a nigga, you know, or a spick, or a crackhead, or a, you know, in denial, biased douchebag. And take these words as a fact. Don't get personal. Don't try to attack me and say, you know, you have no right to use those words. They're very racist. You offended me. I'm reporting you. Do it. I don't give a fuck. But I'll take consideration that, yes, these words can offend a lot of people. And the truth is, some people take it so, you know, so deep. It's because they're coming from a childhood of abuse, or they recently came from a relationship that opened a wound, and, you know, you have to be aware and conscious that maybe you're wrong and they're right for screaming at you. And, you know, I try not to be a complete dick, but the truth is, some people can abuse these words to take advantage of people. And it's the same with people who get offended at other people using that word, but then you could use these words 5 times in a year, while those people use that N word, or, you know, whatever word they use in their livelihood of redemption and, you know, ego. They say it almost 500,000 times a year. Who's the fucking racist now? You know, I've learned that it really truly depends, but I've seen that people who say less get bullied on way more than the people who say more shit than they do. Because in truth, it turns out that stupid people, they get angry when they're being told the truth. But again, you also have to be aware that not everybody's stupid. We can be stupid too, to a point where we kind of deserve getting punched in the face, kicked in the balls, or, nearly getting killed for being stupid. And those are things that we have to look out for, boundaries we have to respect on our part and other people's part. You don't know. The truth is, you really do not know what everybody is fighting for. Justice, revenge, redemption, power, control, psychopathy, sociopath, or whatever the fuck. A lot of people are fighting for something. It could be drugs, they're trying to quit. And the truth is, be kind, be humble. Some people, they'll get all pissed off at you. They might wave a gun at you. They might shoot it at the road. Thank God they missed. But then at the same time, nobody called the cops. But you ended up talking to them and they apologized, saying, life has mistreated them so much and they do not understand why you're still there trying to help. And they're crying, and you could give them knowledge how to become more aware, and you give them money and they cry because they done too many evil things in their life. While there's some people who continue to do evil things and they die evil, and then they leave angry energy in locations. It's kind of like paranormal activity when you try to communicate with whatever is left there. There's no spirits there. There's just energy, chaos, things that should be left alone because energy is real. If you try to fuck with whatever is there, it's gonna think that you're a part of it too. And that's where manipulation comes from. But manipulation doesn't even have to be psychology. It can be energy too. Everything is energy. Energy is beyond living and death. Anyway, I'm gonna end the video here. That's the video for mistakes. Learn from your mistakes. Be kind to yourself and others, and be humble. Anyways, that's the video, you guys. Have a good one.